Yeah, I love the tournament. I was fortunate as a player. I did quite well in the Open Cup and faced a few MLS teams. It's just a fantastic tournament. Everybody can get behind the story of a lower level team progressing through cup competitions and making it to the latter stages to face the big clubs who pay the big money, have the best players. You go anywhere in the world and you mention LA Galaxy and everybody knows who they are. They're the most prestigious club in US soccer. So we're coming up against a giant, so to speak. But this group of players that myself and Todd put together this year, we trust up against anyone. And I genuinely believe that. On our day, we can beat any given opponent. And tonight, why can't we? We have quality in our locker room. We have experience in our locker room. And we have a togetherness, a camaraderie, a spirit, a mentality that not many teams have. And when you have that, no matter who the opponent is, we have the ingredients to go and be successful and win this game. It's a little different this time because we're away in their stadium, and so it'll be an atmosphere that we haven't experienced this year. But belief and togetherness, we have to stick together. And we have to understand that we're here because we deserve to be here. We're on the same field as these guys because we deserve to be. Now, show what quality you have, because I guarantee you they won't want it as much as you do. And if you want it more than the opponent and the quality that we possess, we can achieve a result. And as long as they believe that, as long as I believe that, we have a chance. For us, we've got nothing to lose. Nobody expects us to win. But we have a belief within this group that we're here to win.
103 teams over the last 3 months have stepped between the lines on a journey they hope would lead to glory in the 107th edition of the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup, but only 8 remain as the quarterfinal round kicks off.
Believe in yourselves, play for one another, play with aggression, play without fear, and play for your fucking families. Let's go and win this fucking game.
And the teams are ready to go out there. It's Sacramento in the black. It's LA in the white. It's Northern California against Southern California. It's USL Championship against MLS. It's Sacramento Republic against the LA Galaxy in the quarterfinal of the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup from Carson, California.
You wonder how long can they actually stay with this, because it's a very different story for them being on the road.
Over the top to Martinez. Flag stays down. Douglas Martinez centers it. Dream start for Sacramento. And who else? Rodrigo Lopez.
His responsibility tonight is going to be all over the pitch. Maybe not as advanced, but if you're able to get him a look early on, you know he's going to make you pay. 7 minutes to go for San Jose. Inside 5 against the Galaxy, and they're up 1-0.
Right on goal in. The equalizer off the set piece. We'll go into the break with a 1-1 score line. A spot in the semifinal on the line.
Guys, a bit of belief and a bit of composure.
I'm telling you now, the game is here for you. It's here for you.
Come on!
Felipe! It finds a way through and fights Sacramento as well. From nothing, something, and the Quails have a lead.
The kiss of death in the bottom corner in the 70th minute for Sacramento Republic.
Fans longing for the whistle. Sent back in. Still loose. That'll do it. The team from the capital city shows that Sacramento may be the soccer capital of California as well. For the first time since 2017, a lower division side has made it through the semifinal of the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup.
Give them credit. They deserve it. They were magnificent in terms of their execution. Mark Briggs coming in said, this is what we're going to do. Away from home was the question mark for Republic, but could they do it against one of the more talked about teams in the Western Conference of MLS? The answer is yes. The heart is healthy, it's full of dignity, and just like that, Sacramento Republic have sealed their place in the Final Four.
we're not down here just to celebrate being in the quarterfinals. We have an opportunity, and we've got to grab that opportunity with both hands. Yeah, I love the tournament.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to our State of the Republic Town Hall. Huge shout out to the team for producing that. I don't know if it's the team's internal videographers or if it's an outside agency that they have to go through that, but that is just quite an epic video. And even though I myself wasn't in LA, you can't help but feel like you're in LA after watching that. And it just gets us more pumped up because, as Sharon said in our last podcast, we are really excited to be able to witness semifinal game at home. And for anyone not being able to go there, just witnessing on TV as well, it's going to be an epic night. And we can't wait for July 27th, and we're counting down the days. We're almost there. We're getting there. It's just a couple of weeks ahead. But before I move on, let's go ahead and introduce some of our guests tonight here. First, let's go over to downtown Sacramento. He's in his car as he usually is too, but it's really great because he found shade, and luckily he's staying away from the heat out there. And I think sun's going down a little bit, so should be all good. William, welcome, William. How's it going, man?
Hey, what up, Luis? It's definitely a great time to see everyone here, because I know the Sacramento weather is going to be a blustering hot in the next few days, so I am still looking forward to it on your brand new live podcast.
Yeah, awesome. Well, yeah, I'm really glad that you're on here. We also had Jared, and apparently he dropped off right now. He was about to, I was about at him, but he should be back on here too. He's trying to test the new mic set that I got him, and he's trying to see how all that works out. But he should be on, and we might be hearing him through a mic now, right? Whereas previously he had his headset. So we're really excited to have him on with this new mic. And I haven't heard it yet. I know he's been testing it out, but hopefully all is good, and he'll be on here shortly. We might see possibly Sharon make an appearance. She made an appearance before we went live. So she's over doing some wine tasting over with Tina. So might be, or she might just be in the comments too, of course, which they are. Speaking of that too, you got Sharon saying, nice hat there. Of course, podcast hat. And if anyone actually likes these hats too, and if you guys don't know, they're the trucker style, right? You got this back style like that, and the front's kind of one of those little foamy fronts with the logo screen printed there. If you guys want one, just let us know, and I could make another order for them too. We'll let you know. They're actually not that expensive, so if we get enough interest, we'll do another order. I think minimum I just need to order, I think, like 9 of them. So if anyone else is interested in one, just send us a message, and we'll let you know. But I think it wasn't that much, honestly. It was like less than $10. So we'll sell to you at whatever cost I get it for. So just let us know. And yeah, Tina waving. She's right there with Sharon, and enjoying this Friday evening over there. Sharon, it's William's Carbo Karaoke.
If I could sing one particular song, then I don't know, because we are having some conversation going on.
That would be pretty cool, I gotta say, if you could do karaoke there in the car. We would have some live karaoke. That would be something else, but I don't know how many people we would have actually interested in wanting to do a live thing, right? And not even recorded, probably, right? Or heavily edited. But yeah, that would be a lot different. Let's see. We got Mark in us a comment. What do you think about TV's statement? I actually did see it, Mark, right before the live show. I'm gonna save that towards maybe the end of the show to talk about. So we kind of save that for the last. But yeah, I have my own thoughts on that, and I'm sure. Others here, William might have his own thoughts on it, and Jared, if he hops on as well. And I'm sure Sharon, Tina, everyone might have their own thoughts. Yeah, but we'll talk about that at the end. I think first we'll talk about the game, and then we'll talk about what they've mentioned and what they are planning to do in the first half of the game tomorrow. So just be patient with us too, but we'll talk about that. I promise towards the end of the show. Let's see. You got Tina saying, "Does William spend the whole night in the car?"
Well, I wish I could. Well, right now I am taking a break right now for doing Uber or Lyft pickup passengers right now. So I can be able to be taking a break for a while, and then I'll be able to visit to your podcast.
Yeah, and it'll be really great, right? Because usually after 9-10 on a Friday, Saturday is when you make the most. So
yes,
it'll be a good time to be Ubering, lifting around there too. So
true.
Sharon, waiting for these to go dark. SOTR after dark.
I think you might be possibility, Louise, because I'm sure you might be been incidentally turn off your lights in your room, though.
Yeah, it'll probably happen in about like 30 minutes. Everyone watching is gonna just like slowly see my room start to get dark, but I'll just turn my camera off and I'll turn it on, so I won't be in the dark side for too long. Because you can only put your laptop as bright as possible, and then you just can't see anything. So yeah. Awesome. Well, like I said, Jared will be hopping on shortly to give us his thoughts on all that we'll be talking about today. But first, as I usually like to start these, let's go ahead and start talking about our rival that we'll be facing tomorrow, Oakland Roots. The second time that we play against them during this season. If we all recall, the first time we played against them wasn't too long ago, right? Just recently, 1-1 tie in Oakland. Unfortunate tie for us, right? Because we got a PK called against us towards the very end, and we still think that it wasn't a PK call, but of course, it was called upon, and we couldn't get the win in Oakland, and now they pay a visit to us, and let's take a look at what their form is looking like right now in Oakland's recent games. So we take a look at the games that they've had since beginning of June. Let's go back as far as that. They beat Orange County 3-2. Granted, Orange County has not been doing good, right? Unfortunately for them, right? Because they are the defending champions, but that doesn't guarantee you anything, right? We've seen a lot of defending champions, just not do as good in the following season, right? But they beat them at home. They beat Monterey Bay 2-0 at Monterey. They tied against RGB Toros 2-2. Lost against New Mexico at home 2-1, despite New Mexico having a red card. Tied against the first place San Antonio, which was a pretty big deal considering that they made the trip out to San Antonio. They beat Atlanta United 3-1. Atlanta United 2 is probably one of the lowest level teams right now in the East. So there's that as well. And then just on Friday of last week, they were beaten by Los Dos at LA 3-1. Granted, they did get a red card as well, but they're coming to us with that. So all across the board, right? You're looking at, what is it, 3 games won, 2 games lost, and 2 games tied, right? So it's like the form is kind of like all over the place for them. But what are your thoughts on just some of the recent games that Oakland has had?
Yeah, exactly right. Because I know Oakland Roots did seem to improve very, very well often, but I'm kind of a bit surprised. There are 2 good wins. However, with some free losses, including few draws, there are some drawbacks in my mind, because I know what just happened last time when the Oakland Roots are trying to battle against LA Galaxy 2. It is a very challenging result for them, because I know Oakland Roots are getting a little bit much more handled to beat Los Dos, for instance. But I guess this is definitely a pretty interestingly challenging game, because I know for this opposite side, we do know earlier, because Sacramento Republic FC did succeedingly win over Los Dos, but however, back onto it, I think the Oakland Roots to be challenging to play LA Galaxy 2, it is a very tough one, because I think the Oakland Roots players have kind of been throwing up of their play somewhere, and sometimes they kind of play it too aggressively because of that, because they did receive a red card for them.
Yeah, and the red card was given to Charlie Dennis from Oakland Roots 2, and Charlie Dennis is a English guy. He plays the midfielder, and I'm not too familiar with Oakland. I don't know like how much of a key player he was, but regardless, I mean, he was a starter and he got the red card, so that says a lot when you're a starting player, and the fact that they'll be missing one player is an advantage for us, of course, right? As is any team that we're playing against that is having a red card there as well. But they lost against Los Dos. Los Dos hasn't been as strong as they have been other seasons, so there's that as well.
Yep, exactly right. Because I know both Los Dos, including Oakland Roots, they're kind of been a hit and miss at this point.
And one thing I noticed that I mean, again, we're not too familiar with how their injury report is like, but I don't see any of the former SAC guys in the starting 11 for the game against those. No Formella and nor Clementa.
Yeah, because I know both of these players are seemingly healthy and very active, because they've been fought so well, which is a pretty amazing. Even though for some outside from Sacramento or Republic FC players, when they play Oakland Roots, they are kind of a bit brand new somehow. They don't know how to manage it of their play very, very well often, or possibly if they are trained well enough and trying to play inside of the actual real game, it became as a mental test to see how if you play very, very well in this game.
Yeah, and as we're talking, Jared is going to join us too. I think he wasn't able to figure out his mic issue, so he'll be joining us with the usual mic, which is all good. We're glad to have him on. Hey, Jared, welcome. How's it going, man?
I don't think there's not going to be any troubleshooting needed. I need a new computer. That's what it comes down to.
Well, welcome back, Jared.
Yeah, it's not been a good day. I'll put it that way. So I apologize in advance if I seem a little curt, but I'm going to try to do the best I can. So. All
right. Well, we're sorry to hear that, man. But thank you for being on, and we'll try our best to, make your day a little bit better here with the show.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where we can go from here. Okay. So where are we at right now? Just breakdown on the current game.
Yeah, so we were looking at Oakland's form, right? Their last recent games, and they were beaten by Los Dos 3-1, and we know Los Dos has not been as great, and so trying to interpret how that can benefit us, right? If Oakland lost against them, and we know Oakland isn't in a great form either, right? Well, what can come out of that?
Well, they do have one of their major names missing because of that red card. They're not going to be available. The name of the player escapes me, but apparently they're a pretty big asset for Oakland.
Okay. Yeah.
Charlie Dennis, yes. Yeah, from what I read, he is a big help for Oakland this season. To have him not available for tomorrow's match definitely puts the chips in our favor. But that stands to be said as far as will we actually take advantage of it? That's going to be the big question.
Exactly right, Jared.
And another thing that I was observing too is that apparently they didn't even have on the bench Formella or Clementa. So we're wondering if they're injured. I don't know if you've heard anything on that, but they're nowhere to be found in that last game.
Probably might have had injury or just personal choice. That might be something to look into within these next 12 or 18 hours, because that is definitely a big question as far as why they weren't even on the bench or anything like that. I mean, as big names as they are. Oh, but I think I might have seen some postings from Darek's page. I'm not sure if it was maybe he was attending a wedding or if it was his wedding, but I had seen some social media postings from a wedding from Darek recently. So I don't know. I would have to dig deeper into that to figure that out as well.
Oh, that could be, yeah. Because when they played against Atlanta United too, they were both in the lineup, and you know they're a big deal, right? You're missing Clementa's leadership out back. That's a big part, right? Because we know that the guy has helped Oakland a lot, right? Not only in his natural position, but also in scoring goals too, and we felt it last year. So. You know, if they're actually going to be in the game, then we can't really say much about the last game against Los Dos because he wasn't there and Formella wasn't there either. So remains to be seen if we're going to see them or not tomorrow. Would be interesting to see Darek tomorrow as well, right? Because if we do, then, you know, we'd be seeing him return to Harkell Park for the first time now with the opposition, but it would be interesting, right? I know a lot of the fans going would want to see him, right? Will and Manu, you'd probably want to see him as well, right?
Yeah, definitely seeing the rules for Miller to be coming back here in Sacramento, playing as an opposite team. So yeah, it is a pretty interesting welcome return actually.
Yeah, so if it was a wedding, Jared, then maybe he purposely planned it for that game, so he'd be able to be at Sacramento.
We'll see. I mean, it's also not Darius that's red carded, but then again, who knows? I mean, we'll probably figure out closer to kickoff time who's in the substitutes and all that. But until then, it'll be some interesting news.
It will be interesting. Either it could be it could be for Mello or possibly Clementa, because I'm not sure. I know he was previously benched before, so if he is going to play on the second half, I'm not sure.
Well, taking a look at the standings right now, and where we sit at in Oakland, I mean, Oakland's played 4 more games than we have, right? They're sitting in 9th place and we're in 6th place. But again, that 9th place is a little bit
lower, that is.
Lower, but a little bit more like misleading, right? Because they have more games than other teams around them. So that 9th place could very well be 12th place, even 11th placer where Phoenix is at, because the bottom teams are just, 2 points behind them, and they still have plenty of games to catch up and opportunities there. So where they're sitting at, like I said, I think, the table, if you just look at the points, it seems like they're really close to us, but in reality, they are not. But I think it's really important to, just make sure you get the win and you push them down, like I said, right, in the show. And, it's going to suck for them, right? Because they know that they have more games than other teams, and they know that the odds are are a bit low for them. But that is something else that we need to keep an eye out for, right? Because these guys know that having more games means that they have less opportunities to continue to go up in the table, and that other teams are going to start, moving above them. And so they might be playing a little bit more rougher than they did the last time, because they know that those points are really critical for them.
I agree. Yeah, because I've seen every Republic FC games against Oakland Roots games, both combining each other. Yeah, they've been thrown everywhere. Earlier in the past, a tie game, another win game for a Republic FC, and then the rest all tied. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit similarity at this time. However, I'm sure they need to find the better aggression and better ideology to make sure that each of every gameplay can be much more intensifying and giving a better goal shots, especially for some great defenses as well.
Yeah, and we know that they played pretty rough against each other, right? We've seen seems like we've seen a brawl every time that these two teams play, and the last game was no exception, right? There were a couple, if you guys remember, a couple of moments in the match where some Oakland players wanted to start like a little mini brawl, and those things happen, right? But that's why I don't know how you guys feel, but this is basically our rivalry game, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, this is our new I-80 derby.
No.
Yeah. It is Interstate 80 ride competition here.
Yeah, especially with Phoenix being so low. Could they really be rivals now?
No, not really, because I remember the last time I think they were played during the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup before. They are kind of a struggle at the time being until Sacramento gets a massive goal, including gameplay as well. So yeah, I guess the Phoenix this season, however, it's getting a terrible time for them.
Yeah, I mean it's this downfall started. I mean, with that Open Cup match, and then up to a point last month, it was to where Phoenix Rising was being outscored 15-3 at one point last month.
Yeah, because I know some last season they were having good players, but right now some of them are gone actually, and that's why the Phoenix Rising team are getting much more lower for the first time.
Yeah, all they really have left is Santi Moore, Aiden Quinn, maybe a couple other players, but that's really about it. I mean, once Solomon Asante left for Indy 11, I mean, that just started the ship to sink. And the crowds are still kind of showing up. It's not like the entire fan base has left them, but you've seen through some of their social media postings that they're already calling for Shantz to be yanked from the coaching stand. So that's how bad things have gotten in just a matter of a couple months of the season for Phoenix Rising so far.
Yeah, exactly right.
Oh no, Rick can't leave, right? What's gonna happen to all the salt? Your fries aren't gonna come with salt anymore.
At this point, who knows? I mean, this losing streak has not been as bad since before they were Phoenix Rising FC. They were this goes back to when they were Arizona United SC and they were playing out of Peoria or Scottsdale. I mean, that's how far back this losing streak has gone. Granted, they tied last weekend, but still, the last win they had was against Hartford, and Hartford was still. They were struggling to get out from the bottom, but since they had picked up I'm trying to remember his name, from Reno, from San Diego, when they picked it. That's a player. Oh God, I can't remember his name, but anyway, once they got that signing, Hartford has been looking a little bit better, but almost anyone can beat them. I mean, but Phoenix, no, I don't even see them getting into the playoffs this year. That's how bad it is.
Ooh, that would be good. It'd be good to see them miss the playoff just like we did, and yeah, we would all certainly be happy. And not that we get happy over just the team doing bad, but everyone knows, right? We just don't like Phoenix because of what happened 2 years ago, last time we were in playoffs. So that's where that spurred from. But yeah, so interesting things. Again, we get the victory, and we could potentially be 7 points above Oakland with 4 games in hand. So basically, I think at that point with 4 games, unless you lose those 4 games, you're positioned pretty well to end the season above Oakland. And that's always good when you could put one of those teams below you, because that just means that you have a better chance at being there in playoff mode. So cool. Well, let's take a look at now how our form is coming through here in the last couple of games that we've had. So as we all know, unfortunately, with that crazy altitude in Colorado, we lost 3-0, and with that, our winning streak that we had that was going on so great just ended there. But we know we didn't see the team that we were accustomed to see, and it's going to be a whole different game at home where it's not going to be as bad and where we don't have any altitude, luckily. So before that, though, we beat Monterey Bay in a game that we got to witness there live. It was really great. Awesome comeback. We beat LA Galaxy in the Cup 2-1. We beat Los Dos 2-0. We beat Detroit City 2-0. And then before that, beat San Antonio 1-0. And then the last time we had dropped points was against this very own Oakland team. So, I mean, a pretty good form. Hoping that the team doesn't let the last game get to them. But what do you guys think? We may have lost 3-0, but do you think we're still going to see the same team we've seen at home over the last couple of weeks when they've played at home?
I say it is a 100% yes, because I know the last game when they play at Colorado, which is I know both of Colorado, including Utah, has the highest elevation at this point, because it is a very challenging game to play. So as for tomorrow's match, yeah, I think they will handle it very well often, because I remember the last time they were played during Memorial Day weekend, which is on Saturday. It is a 1-1 draw. So hopefully for Sacramento, I'm sure there are many Sacramento Republic FC fans coming by across Hart Hill Park. It will be a massively exploded, and it will be completely different at this point. So yeah, hopefully, I'm sure they will likely to win over Oakland Roots when the Roots players and the staffers they will be coming by to visit to Sacramento on a very hot Saturday.
Jared?
Okay, hopefully this undefeated win streak does continue on. We have definitely had struggles against Oakland. Given the fact that one of their players is going to be gone, and of course there's the questionable status of Formella and a couple other players. Clementa and Clementa. I mean, I definitely see us having an edge on here, so I definitely say that we could end up taking the win. I know I predicted that we were end up drawing, but we'll just see how it rolls. Hopefully we can pick up on our form like we had in June and just keep that rolling. I mean, we just had I wouldn't necessarily say minor hiccup, but just straight up, we got our backsides handed to us by Colorado, but look where they're at in the ladder too. But all we can hope for is just that we can move forward, get this win this Saturday, and then just go on through the remaining matches of the month.
Yep.
Yeah, and the game in which I think we're going to really truly see our form is when Colorado pays a visit to Sacramento, right? Because that's going to even the playing field, and now you won't have that factor, and it's going to be all anyone's game. And so I think that's where we could really see like how well do we fare against them. But we did beat San Antonio, right? That is sitting up there in the table as well. So I think it's tough to really analyze losses right against the top teams because different factors, and sometimes we beat them and sometimes they get beaten by the team that you don't expect it, right? Like Colorado lost against Monterrey. Granted, it was at Monterrey, but still they lost against them. And then San Diego actually just went up to Colorado and beat them. But granted, again, we played against them on Friday and then they played against them on Monday. So I don't even know who decided to schedule the calendar like that. But San Diego got the bargain of the deal, right? Because they got to play against them literally 2 days after they had played against us. So I don't think it should be that way, but again, I don't know what the people scheduling games are thinking or why they schedule multiple away games like we did, right? Going against Monterey and Colorado twice and not doing host one game, visit the next, host the next game, and so on. I don't know why they did it that way, but yeah, but it'll definitely be tough against Oakland because we know that they are even though they might not be as great right now this season like they were last season, there's a team that you can't sleep on because they do have 30 goals scored and 30 goals against. So they get scored on a lot, but they do score goals. So you got to be careful with those teams because you can have a crazy like 4-3, 5-4 result, but still lose, right? Not in your favor. So they can go either way.
Yep.
Cool. Well, we had Jose Luis Salazar, also known as Mr. Fuerza Power, letting us know in Spanish, saludos, ojalá si ganemos, or hopefully we win. He said, el último juego dos dejó muy dolidos, saying the last game left us really hurt. And we hope that isn't the case tomorrow. Esperemos que no sea el caso mañana, Mr. Fuerza, because we definitely want to just brush that away and remember that at home we've been doing good, and remember that at home you got to get the 3 points at home always, right? And that's why we're in such a good position in the table now, is because of how great we've been doing at home and how we haven't dropped points yet at home. And so I said it and I'm gonna keep saying it, right? Just win all your games, or win basically most of your games at home, and get some points away. We've already gotten some points away, and you'll be in the playoffs, no problem. So that is really the key. Be strong at home, and you're set.
Has Mr. Fuerza Power had any luck at getting tickets for the 27th, as he mentioned?
I think he may.
He hasn't really mentioned. I don't know if he's Mr. Fuerza, si todavía está, ya consiguió tickets para el juego del 27 o todavía no. So we'll see if he has. He hasn't told me, but we're still.
Yeah, because I know he was looking for some. I mean, I know it's kind of going scarce as far as opportunities to get the tickets for that match, but I was just kind of holding out that he might have gotten one.
Oh yeah. Hopefully, I know that. Yeah, it's been tough. I've been checking often, and we know there's a resellers if you hop on, is it StubHub and SeatGeek and all that, but it's like try not to fuel these like scalpers that clearly they knew the circumstance. True. And they're trying to just they bought tons of tickets and they did it with the intention of then reselling it, knowing that some people would want to go and miss out on tickets and do that. So it's horrible. I think it's really unfortunate, and it sucks, but I guess the team can't really do much about it because there's big families that also want to go that are going to buy a lot, so you can't really, it's tough to distinguish who's actually going to use them and who's actually going to sell them. So he said he still needs 3 tickets
Oh man.
Yeah. So he's
There is
still
an
need.
English version of it.
Yeah. So if anyone knows, 3 tickets. If anyone knows of anyone that's selling them, let us know. We want to help him get those 3 tickets, and hopefully more opportunities happen as the game gets closer, right? Sometimes things happen, people can't make to the game, and they'll have their tickets available. And I think a great thing about some of our fan base is that if anyone's trying to sell tickets, you usually see them sold at ticket price, and sometimes even like for a lower price, right? So shout out to all the fans who resell their tickets and aren't trying to make a quick buck out there from them, because
Absolutely, because
that's not good.
we're already dealing with high enough prices with gas, food, and everything like that. We don't need those high prices for when we're just trying to escape from that reality, even if it's just for 90 minutes plus stoppage time. So for those that just sell it for resale or just a little bit over, that we appreciate you. Those that are trying to sell the $20 or $30 seat tickets for $60, $80, $120. Yeah, I'm not even going to say it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it. I'm already having a bad enough day it is. I am not going to add fuel to the fire, so I'll just leave it at that.
Which,
Yeah.
but by the way, just so you know, Jared, I mentioned this to William before we went live. StreamYard now lets us put our own music, right? So, for instance, I can actually decide to add our music or our theme song here on the show. But there's this feature as well. Now, granted, you would have to say the word right as the beep goes, so that maybe that might not work as great. But if you just don't want to say it and you just want to, then we have a beeping sound now.
I don't know. I don't know if it'll keep pace. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll put it this way. Part of my mom's side of the family being from upstate New York, yeah, they curse a little differently and a little fast. So, but it's not. It's nice that StreamYard is trying though. So, until then, I'm just gonna go with muting myself. At least with recording the podcast episodes, there's not a challenge on that.
No, yeah. There I could easily cut things out, but yeah, it's good that they're doing this too. So in the future, we might have a soundboard here with other funny recordings, and it'll just pop up. So I'm glad they added there too, because there's a bunch of things we say that are worthy of being repeated throughout the show, especially this sound that people are familiar with. And you'll notice this one, right? Connor, there you go. So if you remember, Sharon was asking for it, and now you can finally say Connor.
At least with the town hall, so that works.
Yeah, not as smooth as the recording, but yeah. Awesome. Well, let's take a look at tomorrow's game. Some of the players that we hope might be starting. And first, I want to ask you guys this question, because there's a question that we always ask, because we have 2 amazing goalkeepers. But who do you got tomorrow on the net? Do you have Danny V, or do you bring in Carlos to give him some more playing time?
Well, I remember the last time when they are playing against the Oakland Roots. I think it was Danny V actually. So hopefully for the next one, I think it will be the same person actually. So I'm going for Danny V.
How about you, Jared?
It would be nice to give Carlos some additional time, especially since the last game that he played, he ended up getting the clean sheet. But with Oakland being an additional challenge compared to other teams, I think we're going to need Danny V.
Yeah, I think definitely a better alternative idea, Jared, because I think Carlos did seem to improve very well, because I remember because I remember the last time he played against Los Dos, his goalkeeping skills are pretty impressive.
So Mr. Fuerza says, I think tomorrow Carlos, but next game Danny V.
Yeah, definitely right, Jose. See.
So my opinion for this one is that I'm with Jared on this one as well. I think tomorrow Danny V, given that Oakland, we said right, the Oakland could be rough. It could be a tough game regardless of how they're doing this season. But also because there's a couple of things, right? So if you start Carlos, that could send the wrong message, right? In that, oh, you're benching, and this might not be the reason for it, right? But again, people could think different things, right? But it could be thought that you're benching him because he lost 3-0, right? Because he got 3 goals scored against them, and that hadn't happened, right, before the season. So that could be one thing, right? But I think also for the player, for Danny V, as much as he might know that, okay, coach might just be giving Carlos more minutes, it could still, kind of get to you, right? So it's a little risky to do that to a player, a goalkeeper who has been really great thus far, considering that those 3 goals he got scored on, he couldn't really do much. And the third goal, again, we can argue all the time, it was offside, it was interfering with plays, and he couldn't do either anything there, right? But that wasn't called, so that's in the past. But so I think there's that. And also I think Carlos should be the starter against Birmingham. So I would definitely. I think Jared got disconnected there. But Carlos should be
sign off there.
Yeah. Oh, he's back here.
Oh wait.
I think it was probably just the connection that it probably went on enough. But I think Carlos should be the starter against Birmingham because you're gonna want Danny V to be like in good condition, right? No slight injuries or no like questioning, because he needs to be in the game against Sporting Kansas City, right? And
exactly,
I think
yes.
And then plus you just need to give him some rest, right? Because he's been playing a lot, and tomorrow's game is going to be pretty rough, and also let Carlos play, because in the following game, as Jared knows, and Jared's going to be there witnessing the game, we battle against Phoenix Rising at Phoenix. It's going to be another tough game again. Doesn't matter what position they're in, and it's going to be a rough one too. And I think that for that game, you also let Carlos play. Don't take any chances, and it'll be tough, right? Because it'll mean 2 games that Danny doesn't play. But I don't know. You're taking a big risk in starting him in that game, because we know that Phoenix is going to be hungry for points, and it's going to be tough, right? So I don't know. I just think that you definitely need to give some minutes to Carlos, because we just never know what might happen. Even against Sporting Kansas City, right? Danny could still get injured in training, and you want him to be in form, right? And so give him a couple of games, let him regain his confidence, right, and on the net, and have 2 really strong goalkeepers when you face against Sporting Kansas City. Should there be an injury even throughout the game, right, that requires you to sub out your goalkeepers? What do you guys think?
Yeah, everything's right. So I'm sure Danny V will need to take a rest for a while. So I think I agree with you guys. So I think Carlos that will be likely the perfect fit goalkeeper to play.
Yeah, and it looks like Mr. Fuerza Power says, in my opinion, Carlos needs more time, and as a starter, he did a really good job. Yeah.
See, definitely worked.
Yep.
Yeah, he's done good, and but you definitely need to make sure that he doesn't lose his rhythm, and you give him an opportunity to, but just don't do it tomorrow though, because again, it could send the wrong message. And that might not be what coach is intending to, but especially after getting 3 goals scored against you, even though it wasn't Danny B's fault or anything, I think he needs to regain his confidence, and we need a confident Danny in the net. And tomorrow's game is one of those games that could bring that confidence back to him, right? Especially if he's able to get another clean sheet and add to the clean sheet collection too. And and he needs that too, right? And of course, if you don't start him tomorrow, then he should be starting against Birmingham then at that point. But we'll see what coach decides tomorrow. Mr. Force asks, is anyone injured?
Yes, there are some of them. I think one of them, it is Keko.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Keiko is injured. We really have no idea on how long he'll be injured for. I'm assuming not for too long. I feel like he'll be back at least to play against Phoenix would be my guess, but we really don't know the status too. But he was out there doing community service with Sharon, and so I'm assuming that his injury is not too bad, right? Because he could still walk, and so if he could still walk and all is good, then I mean, I'm not an expert on injuries, but I think it's just a couple of weeks at this point if he's able to walk.
Yeah, with an injury like that he had, I mean, you definitely want to, take some extra time just to be on the safe side, because especially when it comes to the leg injuries, foot injuries, it's going to take some time for something like that to heal up and also to feel your confidence. I mean, just because you can walk, you may not be ready for running or hard impact, anything like that. So definitely it's something that you want to take your time with that kind of injury.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, especially a guy like Keiko, because we know he's really important to the team. We know he was a big part in that first goal we scored against LA Galaxy, and you want to make sure that he's in good shape for the 27th. That's the most important game. And yeah, I mean, when we get to the game against Phoenix, we'll talk more about it on the podcast, because it's going to be an away game, but there's a lot that's going to be going on, right? Because that game is going to be really challenging, as I mentioned before. And as coach, he's back to that dilemma, right? What do you do at that point, right? Do you have a good, strong team actually travel to Phoenix, which would be great for Jared to see the strongest team? Or do you save some of the guys back home and give them some rest and allow them to be at full capacity to be able to give their all against Sporting Kansas City in the Cup? It's tough.
It is, yes.
We got Sharon joining us. Hey, have a great night. Thanks, Sharon. We hope you're having a great night as well. Are you still at the winery?
I'm sure she is, actually, along with Tina, actually. A girl's night dream, though, on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Have a couple sips for me, y'all.
And I'm surprised she hasn't talked about how I'm almost getting to the dark side here, but I'll have my light on here shortly. But let's talk about starting 11 for tomorrow, and just as a reminder of our last starting 11 that we had. Here's how it looked like. Who do you guys got in your starting 11? Name me some of your starters tomorrow.
Yeah, earlier, I know Carlos that might be in here. Although for the Oakland Roots, I think earlier, because I think Roro shouldn't be in it, actually. And fortunately enough, oh yeah, I saw Louis' lights has been turned off, because I know there is some unusual things going on here. Okay, so we know Roro could be in here. Damia will be in there. Duke LaCruz, I think he might be also in it as well. Dan Casey, Jack Gurr, because I know Jack Gurr has a yellow card, but I am kind of a bit concerned if he gets another yellow card. At some point, he might be turning as a red card, so that would be a possibility. But hopefully, I'm sure Nick Ross, that would be ideal to be a possible substitution, actually. So I think that's all I have so far, in my opinion, though.
Yeah, I think Nick Ross, at least for last week, was listed on the injury report. So
Yeah,
that's going to be another one that's we're have to see if he's going to be healthy enough to either start or be on the bench. And as far as this 11 looks like it should be good, at least for the first half. If there's anyone I would like to see subbed out, and I hate to say it, it's going to be Jack Gurr. I mean, I know he's getting yellow cards, so it's really difficult. I mean, I would love to see him stay on. Even more would love it to see him score, but we'll just have to play it by ear with this match.
Yeah, exactly right. And by the way, what about Luther? What about Luther Archimonte? Because I think he might also be a perfect sub, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see Luther coming in there. I mean, he's been pretty good the past few matches. So yeah, I mean, I would say that Luther Archimonte, definitely a good choice.
Also, what about that? A Jamaican player. I think his name is
Malik Foster.
Malik Foster.
Yeah, Malik Foster. Yeah, because I know earlier he made 2 goals successfully.
Yep.
So I'm
dentist.
sure he might be in it.
Yeah, the Mr. Brace. See ya, Mr. Forza. He said maybe I'll be in the game tomorrow. Cool. Well, I'm not gonna be there, but
Senior Forza, adios.
William will be in the game, I think, right? You mentioned?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
I am.
So he'll be at the game if you go there, Mr. Forza. I'm not gonna be at the tomorrow's game, but I'll be at the game against Birmingham, and so will Jared as well, and Sharon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, true.
Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by, Mr. Forza Parra.
But yeah, I know you mentioned it before, William Jacker. Yeah, he gets yellow cards.
He got a massive yellow cards earlier. Yeah, because I know earlier that, as I mentioned earlier, that would be a little bit a toss-up, actually, because I think he needs to be very careful about it to be receiving additional yellow cards. If it does, a red card, that will be taking a little bit of time off.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly getting up there in the yellow card counts, but we know the kind of guy he is, right? He's explosive, right? If he thinks it's not a foul, he's gonna be right there shouting at the referee. And what I like to tell the players is that, I mean, we do like when you see a guy that doesn't want to lose a game, right? Mm-hmm. And they might feel like that they got a bad call on them and all that. But I usually say, let us, the fans, shout at the referee, because we're not going to get yellow carded. And even if we do get yellow carded, who cares, right? We're not going to get banned from going to one game because of yellow card accumulation.
Exactly right. Yeah, that is true. I got some fans in the seating which I am sitting at section 107. It's getting a little surreal, though.
Yeah, it's we get pretty, mad at calls too, right? But like I say, we're not gonna get the red card pulled on us unless a fan decides to run onto the pitch. Then that's a whole nother story. But other than that, it's like, if you're just shouting, getting mad at the referee, as long as there's no threatening going on, of course, then nothing's gonna happen to you, right? So that's why I tell the players, allow us to be the ones that shout at the referee, because trust me, there's plenty of us already, and all across the stadium, no matter where you're sitting out, there's always a couple of people that will be screaming at the ref. So let us do that so you don't get the yellow card. But trust me, we're going to be yelling at the referee every time there's any call, right? Unless you could tell from being at the stadium that the call was legal, right? And we can't really argue against that, but allow us to yell, guys, and don't try not to get a yellow card just for doing that, right? If you get a yellow, let it be because you did a foul and it was one of those so-called tactical fouls that we can't get angry at, because they were going to have a one-on-one opportunity and you helped you helped us not be under that circumstance. So
Yeah, I agree with that because yellow card it is also known as a citation ticket as always a warning for sure.
yeah. But I think, I also do like this lineup, but I would probably, take him back to the bench, Z-Man. I haven't been impressed with him recently, and I know he's had the opportunity to be in the starting 11 in the last couple games, and he hasn't really, in my opinion, deserved to be in the starting 11, right? Hopefully he can change that, but I think it would be good to allow Malik Foster to start match tomorrow.
Yeah.
Swap him out for Zico and see how he does in the starter role. I know a lot of people like him as a well, we're not calling them subs anymore. Remember, rotation, right? As a rotation player. But I say just give him a chance and see if he still has a pretty good performance as a starter as he does when he gets rotated into the lineup. But I just think that Z-Man just has not really deserved to be in the starting 11 in the last couple games. And but hopefully he can prove me wrong. Hey, score a goal tomorrow and make me eat my words, and that'll be great. But I just think he's the one that I would probably change in this lineup. But everyone else is strong. I mean, this is our strong team, right? You take him out, you put Malik, and you got all of our all-star players in the starting 11.
Exactly right. And by the way, one last thought. How about Matt Alagrasa? Because I think he got some few yellow cards on his pockets so far, actually.
Yeah, I think he's gotten some yellow cards. I know we have our little competition on who gets the most yellow cards, and I said Matt Lagrasa and Jared and
including Luis Felipe as well.
Yeah, Jared and Sharon said Luis Felipe would be getting the most yellow cards, and he's got more yellow cards than Matt does. But yeah, I mean, they're certainly adding the yellow cards up, and we know Roro got suspended a game already for that. But
in the past,
yeah. So
earlier this season he got accumulation and ended up having to serve a suspension. So yeah, that was this season earlier.
Oh my gosh, what just happened, Roro?
Yeah, which I mean, Roro is one of those guys a little similar to Luis Felipe, right? Where you see him running up and down, right? If he has to go for a tackle, he's not afraid to pull a tackle, and those are the risks that you run. But hey, I'm good with that, right? If you run a risk of yellow cards, but you have guys who are just not giving up a ball, they're tackling left and right, then that's all good, because you want guys who really feel like they want to win, and they're going to be running up and down. If they're playing all 90 minutes, you're going to see him continuously put pressure and do all that. So that's all good there. But let's take a look at the stats if you want to see how we're doing here with cards, now that we're on the topic of cards as well. So if we look at discipline and let's look at yellow cards. So of course we mentioned Rodrigo Lopez got suspended a game already. He's at 8, and I believe once you get 8 yellow cards, that's when you have to serve a suspension. And Jared, correct me if I'm wrong. True. I think when we read the rules, I think when you get 5 yellow cards, you get $100 fine, right? I think it was 5 or 6.
It was, yeah. I mean, it wasn't exactly like thousands or anything like that, but I think it was definitely in the hundreds range.
Okay, so Luis Felipe is right there. I mean, he's getting close to paying the fine, and like 4 yellow cards away from getting suspended for a match. And then below him, Douglas 3, Jack has 3. So Jack only has 3 right now, surprisingly, which is good for us, right? Because those could have been more. Gecko has 3, Connor Donovan 2, Souza 2, and then list goes on with more guys with 2 on here. Matt Lagrassa 2. So Matt's got plenty of games before
Oh,
he,
good.
he
Actually,
gets
because I thought I was so worried about it. I was so worried about Matt because I know Matt plays very, very, very well often, but I'm sure he needs to be aware to be receiving yellow cards without being going much more aggressive.
Yeah, and if we look at fouls committed, Luther actually leads the pack with 27 fouls committed, and so we got to be pretty thankful. Like, he's only gotten 1 yellow card out of 27 fouls.
Damn.
Yeah, and
Are you
Dougie as
feeling
well.
okay, Jared?
Oh, you good, Jared?
Oh, sorry about that. I thought I had it on mute.
Oh, good. And we got Dougie with only 3 yellow cards and 26 fouls committed, and Luis Felipe 26 as well, and 4 yellow cards. So we certainly need to watch those fouls because we've gotten pretty lucky. That's a lot of fouls given the amount of yellow cards. Those top 3, they've had a lot of fouls committed, right? Versus the other ones.
Yeah, I'm surprised Robo has all those yellow cards. I mean, he's I don't know. He's definitely level-headed. I mean, I'll say that, but it seems like that refs are calling a lot more against him lately. I mean, I don't know. It's got to be the league. It's got to be the refs. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because Roro only has 13 fouls committed, and 8 yellow cards out of that too. Another reason could be, I mean, we're looking at this high foul count, and some of the fouls aren't deserving of yellow cards, of course, right? And then it could just be that Roro, anytime he fouls, he makes it count, right? It's one of those times where he's gotta pull the tackle, otherwise we get scored on, right? So there is that too as well, that he knows when to tackle, and unfortunately sometimes, I mean, he has to get the yellow out of that. But it just it's interesting to see how we have a lot of players that have done a lot of fouls and a couple of yellow cards, so they just need to be on the lookout for that, because just because we didn't get yellow carded in all these instances, we could get yellow cards and they could start accumulating, and worst thing could be us losing out on a player should we make playoffs and not having one player. And I don't know if in the rules the yellow cards get eliminated once you get playoff time. I don't think so. I feel like, if you have to, if you're just the yellow card away from serving suspension, if you get it in the playoffs, then you probably have to actually count them. Although they do have a rule where, and I think it's either 4 or 5, but I think it's 5 games. If you go 5 games, I think without getting a yellow card, you actually get a yellow card deducted. Right? Yeah,
because I had seen that on the USL website on their news and notes. They have a discipline report. Last week, there was one spotted that such and such player from, I don't know if it was New Mexico or some other team, that stated that since they had gone 5 consecutive games without any yellow cards or fouls or anything like that, they've given a not a demerit, but ultimately they had taken either a yellow off or given them credit for good behavior.
Okay, so they do have that, and it's good that they have that, because it's harsh, and sometimes, especially Melvin Rivas is your referee, as Jared knows, you might be getting a yellow card for no reason, right? Or for a fake foul, or just just because the referee wanted to pull a yellow card and he thought something was deserving of a yellow card when maybe in reality it wasn't. And so it's good that they allow for yellow cards to be deducted if there's good behavior. So shout out to them for doing that. But yeah, so that's how that is looking like. But let's take a look at more positive stats, like goals. We haven't scored that many, but on the goal front, you got Douglas and Malik leading the team with 3 goals each. And then below that, you have the Spanish Connection with Darth Vader and Keiko with 2 goals. You got Luther and Roro with 2 goals as well, and then List goes on with just a couple of one goal guys there.
Rafael got his first successful pro goal, which is a pretty impressive result. Because I know in the beginning he did start with the academy in the U21 area until he signed it in full just a few years ago. And now, look at him now. He got his first goal, and after trying, he did that. And I'm so impressed for him.
Yeah, and I mean it's good for his confidence, especially when he gets subbed in, to know that, hey, I scored a goal already, I could do it again, right? And so it's good that he got the goal in a great time in the season, and we want to get more players that can get their first goal, so they have that confidence in them, and so they can help us with getting more goals in favor, right? Because we know we need to catch up on that, because we haven't really scored all that much, and there's other teams in our conference, and even just in general, that just have a lot more goals than we do, right? And some of them have the same games that we do, so a lot of work that needs to be done on that side. But tomorrow might be one of those games. I mean, again, Oakland, as much as they score a lot, they do get scored on a lot, so it might be a high scoring game. And if we get a win and it's like 5-4, then hey, at least you got 5 more goals in your favor, and so it's not all too bad, even though it's just a win by a 1 goal differential. And we'd certainly get more of these guys competing for who's the top goal scorer, and it being more than 3 goals for our top goal scorer. So we'll see what happens there. Cool. Well, I know we talked about it on the podcast too, but we like to also mention it again, and also hear William's thought. But let's talk about your guys' predictions for the game tomorrow. So William, let's have you go first. What's your final score, and who gets the first goal?
This is the second round match against Sacramento against Oakland. Earlier around Oakland on Memorial Day weekend, it was 1-1. But for me, for tomorrow, I guess in my opinion, for my potential guessing score, I believe it could be 2-1. Sacramento wins, so the first goal could possibly could be Roro, or possibly maybe a Dan Casey. That I think that might be a close possible. However, because I'm sure Malik Foster, that will be likely to be earned his first goal though. That will be my possible guess, actually. And so yeah. 2-1, Sacramento wins.
Oh, nice. Well, Sharon said the same thing as you did, 2-1 as well. But she gave Dougie the first goal. I say 2-0. I think 2-0, because 2-0 is like the score that we've been having a couple times already too. And I see Roro getting the first goal. And then Jared had guessed 1-1 tie, and he sees Matt LaGrassa. Right, Jared?
And LaGrassa, I forgot to mention about Matt. He never made his first goal as of this season. So hopefully he may be getting his shot, though.
No, I thought he got one one that hit him in the back of the head and went in earlier in the season.
Oh, yeah, in the Open Cup against Timbers.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So Open Cup, so not league play. Okay.
Yeah, and that game that everyone was scoring a goal, right? That we wanted to go and get our goal as well.
Hell, I probably scored a goal somehow.
Yeah, I mean, he scored it like that, right? I feel like you just being out there, we would have scored one way or another. just being
Yeah.
running out there. But yeah, we need more guys getting a goal and getting that glory and competing against each other to see who gets the most goals on the team, because it's up for grabs
Yeah.
when your top goal scorers have 3 goals only, and you have a lot with
Mhm.
1 and a couple with 2, then you could make a run to be the top goal scorer.
Yeah,
I think
hopefully, yeah, because I know in Sacramento, I think this would be the better potential to make a free go win, because I know Oakland play seems to be a little bit rough on both at home, including away games. So that would be some possibility of it.
mm-mm. Yeah, so we'll see what happens tomorrow, but let's not be surprised if it is a high scoring game, one way or another, no matter the result. But it could be a high scoring game. I think
It
just
may
based
be
on
so, in my
how
opinion.
Oakland is. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what's there. Cool. Well, I did promise. I believe who was it that commented? Mark Anthony. That I would be putting this question at the end, and we would actually be able to answer it here. I didn't have it in the plans to talk about this, but since you asked, Mark, let's give some context as to what happened, or what TBB had mentioned here. Let me share the tweet here in case William and
Yeah,
Jared
I
haven't
never
seen
seen the
this.
tweet actually.
Yeah, so they published it. I
Oh,
mean, 5 o'clock too. So and I had actually just seen it right before we hopped on the live show too. But um, they put this statement out there because the team had not, you know, publicly stated their position on what had happened, right, and all that. And I know we've seen companies, we've seen other sports teams actually put out a statement, right, calling out what had happened and stating their position on this issue. And Sac Republic hadn't, right, up to this point. I know they do mention throughout their statement there that some players and team staff have made their voices heard on the issue, and so what they're calling for in tomorrow's match is that they plan to be silent throughout the first half, and they'd resume cheering the team in the second half as a way to show solidarity and basically also be silent just as the team is. So before I give my response to this question, I want to hear what you guys have to say. If you guys want to give your answer to this too, but what do you say, Jared?
I certainly see where TBB is coming from. I mean, really, even other USL clubs have spoken on this issue, because at the end of the day, you have to remember half of your fans happen to be women, happen to be the female gender, and they deserve rights as much as men do. I mean, for the club to celebrate Pride Night, I mean that is definitely awesome, and I am for LGBTQ plus folks as well, because they're family to me. But for the club to just stay silent on such a landmark situation with our country, eroding the rights away from women, to stay silent on that's not a good look. I mean, Republic FC has been about the community, but for them to not put out a statement saying, "Hey, we support women throughout this country," I mean, even if within our community, for them to stay silent, that's just a bad message. So I know I might catch some crap from this, but I got to stand with TBB on this. I mean, these are our mothers, these are our grandmothers, our sisters, our aunts, our daughters. I mean, if nobody's going to stand up for them, I mean, who will?
yeah, exactly
Well,
right. Yeah, exactly right, Jared. And I know Roe versus Wade has now overturned right now, because everyone has gone a little much more sadness and even much more suffering at this point. So yeah, because I don't know why how some re, how some Republic FC players and fans have been fully 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 responded at this point. So yeah, I think women should and will have up 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 should have and will be having abortion rights, because I know women can can I know women can make their own rights to be choose, because I know they they really want the message out, because I know it is a really getting a lot more interesting topic at this point. So yeah, because I'm sure Sacramento Republic FC needs to be aware of this, because I'm sure they will be possibly announce it beginning tomorrow. So yeah, I will be. Yeah, I will be. I will be standing for a woman who wants rights to be to be protected as well.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, when I found out that it was overturned and all that, I mean, it's one of those things that just gets you really disgusted. And we try not to get too like political here on the podcast, but
Yeah.
it was just really gross that we kind of went backwards, and you feel like what year are we in now, right? Like, how is this being overturned, right? Aren't we looking towards the future, not looking back at the past and all that? And it's great that we had a couple of players and team staff actually voice their thoughts on this issue, and actually mention their stance on it and all that. Why the team didn't actually publish anything, I'm not sure, but I just think that we shouldn't necessarily say that just because they didn't say anything, it means that the team is like that that they're not siding right with us as well, right, on this position. So I don't think it's so much that, right, as much as people might maybe think, right, like, okay, it wasn't actually mentioned and whatnot. But I do think that after now them seeing this, they're gonna probably actually put something up. And how good that is or not, because then it's just going to be like, oh, well, they put this because TV put pressure on them to actually now put this statement out, is another thing. But it's just one of those things where, I mean, I personally didn't feel offended that the team hadn't published anything. That might just be me, right? And I would still go to the game, and I would still support the team even in the first half myself, just because I don't think that the team doesn't side with us just because they don't publish something. It just doesn't necessarily mean that. And if we're hearing it already from players and staff, what position that they're actually on, right, then we should still be supporting them, just because we know that they're on our side as well, right? And I think with a lot of issues, with a lot of companies and sport franchises and all that, if one doesn't actually say anything, I just personally don't take any offense to it, right? And there's been plenty of times, even like, I'm pretty strong for like immigrant rights, right? And we should legalize dreamers and people who never even saw their home country and all they know is being in the US, right? But just because a company or a sporting team doesn't actually say anything about that, and especially when it's like the hot topic and everyone's talking about it and whatnot, I don't really feel offended on that, as much as it's something that I support, immigrant rights and all that. But again, that's just me, but I do understand when people don't see the message, they could maybe infer like, okay, that person or that organization might not be on my side, and that's why they're choosing to stay quiet. So it's a little bit, it's difficult. It's just one of those things that it's just tough to understand, right? But they're on all the right to do this, right? Because they could choose to do that and do this as a way of protesting that. But I just think everyone has their own thoughts about companies and teams should do and should not do. But I don't know. I just personally just think that we're putting the blame too much on them when when we should probably be out there protesting the courts, right? Protesting outside of the Supreme Court, right? Just like a lot of people are currently, right? And so that's, I think, where we truly make a difference, right? Versus, maybe the team just making a statement. It's not really going to change much, right? Yes, it's going to create some noise, but, at the end of the day, where we want to make a change is in the Supreme Court. And if that's where we want to make the change, then we have to go out and voice our thoughts, go and, vote in the elections, right? There's some coming up, right, this year, later on in the year. So that's where we need to make our voice heard and make sure that, we go back to how we were a couple of months ago, where anyone could get an abortion no matter where you were at. So that's what I think too. And I know we kind of like got into the topic here too, but thanks for bringing that up, Mark. But that's just how I feel too. But hopefully the team put something up so TVB could be out there supporting in the first half, because the team will need it greatly, right? Especially after coming up from a 3-0 loss. And I know Oakland is actually going to bring their supporters group, from what I've been hearing, and so we definitely want to be louder than they are, right? Because I don't know if they would also
because they're trying to bring in much more loudness, actually.
Yeah, so I think that as well. Tina says, I don't think the guys shouldn't be supported during the game just because the team didn't make a statement. Yeah, that's how I feel as well. And again, I respect everyone's thoughts. Jared gave his thoughts here as well. We all understand what position everyone's coming through, but it's just, that's how I feel as well. I just feel like, don't make the team pay for something. The team, it's not like the team, made the decision to overturn it, right? That was the Supreme Court judges. And so that's who we should be protesting against outside, the Supreme Court office, and just, holding up the signs and all that should be done over there, or going to the Capitol and being in those peaceful protests and actually voicing your thoughts there, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to be seen nationwide, right? That's what gets played in the news, and that's where we could really make make our voices heard and whatnot. And I think by all means, right, if you want to go take something to a stadium to voice your opinion on things too, just like we saw one of our friends at TVB actually do that. And Jared remembers this well. You remember, Jared, when I forgot who it was from our friends.
It was Heather.
Yeah, it was Heather.
Okay, yeah. Remember, she also had a sign, right? And they made no issue at Sac Republic too. And that's one thing that we should actually know, is that she had the sign, and I forget exactly what it said, but it was on this issue here, and she wasn't told at all in Sacramento, like, hey, please don't show that sign. And I think she was sitting right next to where I was sitting at. It was like at one of the Cup games, and she was fine, right? Where she was told something was when she made the trip out to El Paso, but that's a whole nother political situation over there in Texas. But she wasn't told anything in Sacramento, right? So I think we should point that out.
For different parties aside, yes.
Yeah, so she didn't get told anything in Sacramento. So we should point that out, that it seems like if anyone wants to do that at a game, right, you can actually do that. If you want to wear a shirt that shows your position, if you want to take a poster board, just like, I don't know if she had a poster board. I think she didn't have a poster board. It was something else. But if you want to take something, write a sign that shows your opinion, and you could do that. So now I would be a little disappointed if the team had actually said something to her, right? Or if the team all of a sudden they were like, hey, you can't be voicing any political opinions here at the stadium. That would be different, right? Because you're not saying anything threatening on that board that you're showing. You're not causing a fight because of that, right? You're just simply voicing your opinion and in a peaceful manner. And so that's where I would have a problem if they would have told her at Sacramento, like, hey, you can't be showing that here. Then that's when that could be a whole another issue, right? But luckily, that doesn't happen right now. Hopefully, that never happens because, then you're messing with other freedom of speech and all that situation there. So, but again, yeah, I think each person will have their thoughts, and again, we respect everyone's opinions on what TDB should do or should not do. But I know
Yes, why not?
they have good intentions, but again, we understand where they're coming from. Sharon said, Tina Carlson, yes, support the players. Yeah, so
Definitely 100% right.
yeah, but again, hopefully the team puts out that statement and allows for the players to be supported for that first half. And even on the team side, it doesn't take that much to like put the statement up. It's not like they're voicing something that most people are not going to agree with, right? But
well, also it should be pointed out that in reading throughout this entire post, as far as this goes, it's not necessarily not wanting to support the players. So we need to put it out straight there that they do support the players and team staff members that have made their voices heard. This is more geared towards the Republic FC club leadership. So just to put it out there, it's not to say TPB is not supporting the team. I mean, not supporting the people on the pitch during the first half, is just remaining silent. So when it comes down to it, TBB is still supporting the boys on the field, the staff members on the field, and everything like that. But it's just more of a challenge to the Republic FC leadership as far as remaining silent on this issue. So just to clarify on this.
Oh yeah,
that is exactly right, Jared. Yes,
it's just one of those things where I get it, right? They want to send a message to the leadership, but the players end up paying for it, right? I mean, and granted, it's just the first half, and it's not like we're making a big deal being that it's just the first half, but I mean, it could take a toll on the guys, right? Not having that all that support, right? And just the drums and all that, right? I mean, we know TVB brings the atmosphere to games, and I think the guys really are going to really need a lot of it for this game. Let's see. Sharon said, but how do the players know about it? I think this tweet is making its rounds around Twitter too, so I wouldn't be surprised if someone finds out and then they start telling all the rest of the guys like, hey, if you don't hear them, don't worry, right? It's just they're gonna be silent for the first half. So
yeah, exactly right. I'm sure everyone has a different opinions actually.
Now, what I hope isn't going to happen is, if the team doesn't actually put the message out there on socials, which I do think they will be putting the message out there, but in the event that they don't, I really hope that people don't start now like giving their back on the team, and then they just start not going to games, or at least, to like the following game against Birmingham, because now that would be terrible, right? If now we're going to lose supporters because of this too, but again, I don't think it'll happen, but in the event that the team doesn't actually state something, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the next action that they take, is start telling people not to go to games. And yeah, Sharon said, if I cheer the players from my section, will I be ostracized? I would hope not, and I would hope that they would be respectful, that if anyone in other sections is supporting the team, that people don't start causing conflicts with one another, because that doesn't mean that, oh, they're not on my side, they're on another side. Like let's put all politics aside, right? And Jared said it well at the beginning, right, Jared? Like a lot of people, they want to escape, right, things, right? They don't want to have any issues, right? People are going to game to like cheer on the team and not to run into any issues with anyone else. So if someone does choose to actually support the team in the first half and still cheer on the players, I really hope that that doesn't cause conflict among our own fan base, and then you have people saying like, why are they shouting when we have this whole like silent thing? And I think it's only going to be in the TV section where they would expect the silence to occur, because they truly can't expect the whole stadium to be silent. And yeah, that's what I hope. I mean, we don't want any conflicts, and nothing would be worse than a conflict amongst our own fan base.
I agree.
So so Sharon, you keep cheering. You cheering or anyone else cheering does not mean that you're not on the same side. That's what I gotta say, and I hope people don't think that you're not. All right, well, we spent a long time there talking about their message there, but I'm glad you brought that up, Mark, because it's good for us to bring, since that had just happened literally a couple hours before we went live. All right, well, we're going to be looking forward to tomorrow's game, especially after losing 3-0 in the last game, because it was a rough loss for us, and we need the guys to just go back to their winning ways and to keep proving everyone that we're doing really good at home, that, you know, we can continue to do good at home. And, you know, heck, I mean, they gotta try keep this unbeaten streak going, so when we play against Sporting Kansas City, we could be like, hey, we're still solid at home, right, guys?
Yes, definitely 100% right. I'm sure they will bounce back.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a big tune-up, especially with the schedule we have ahead of us. So if we can get one past Oakland, I mean, that's going to be great on so many levels, but also to get ready for even bigger challenges, especially against Birmingham and Kansas City as well. So this is the start of us going back up.
Open Cup. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and especially keep the good streak against California teams recently, right? And hopefully the newly baptized as El Gobernador, or also known as Luis Felipe, can make his presence known in this game, because we know how much he likes to play against California teams and score against California teams, right?
Yeah, definitely, because he knows everything.
So Sharon said, I hate the SCOTUS decision. And yeah, Sharon, I think it's pretty clear that us three here hate their decision as well, right? And I think a lot of people do. I think, you know, if people were surveyed at the stadium, a lot of people are probably on that same side, right? And that's not to say that anyone who isn't on our side, you know, you should cause conflict, because again, at the end of the day, when you go into the stadium, we might not agree with other people's political views, right? But, you know, we're there to support the team, right? Once you're out of there, you know, each person kind of goes their own ways and all that. So again, that shouldn't bring conflicts, because we don't want a divided fan base over politics, right, guys?
Yep.
Right.
Definitely.
All right. Well, with that being said, any last final thoughts before we end tonight's broadcast, Jared, William?
Well, besides with that huge topic that we are going over since earlier ago, I must say, keep positive, keep motivated, and keep up the good work, Sacramento, because I know last game, it is a very tough one, sure. But I'm sure for tomorrow's night's match against Oakland Roots to be played at home, it will be a bouncing back opportunity to win. So let's keep it going, Sacramento. I know you can do it.
We've had a tumultuous past week, having lost 3-0. We just have to learn from it, move forward, and apply what was learned. Let's get back in the winning seat, especially against Oakland.
Yeah, and especially for Sharon too.
And Sharon mentions "Go Republic." Couldn't agree anymore.
Yeah, it's time for us to get that win again. Put that City of Trees green kit back on, the kit that we all enjoy seeing, and keep that winning streak going on, right? Because we know how much in demand that jersey is, which, by the way, I'm glad I remember now. If you haven't gotten yours yet, they have pre-orders because they are going to get more in stock. So get your pre-order in soon.
I bought mine. I bought mine earlier because I just bought it online, and now it did ship, which I am so surprised.
Oh, you did the pre-sale as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
definitely
nice.
right.
Yeah, well, that means mine's going to be on the way. Great. Well, no, shout out to the team for doing a reorder on that. I know, and yeah, big applause to them too, because once I saw that they sold out of the large, which granted, if we all know they run small, they even put it on their item list, they run small. I was a little worried. I was so close to even buying a small just to have the jersey. Granted, I wouldn't be able to like fit in it, but I'm glad that the team did a reorder of them, because in the past, I can't recall a time when they've ever maybe reordered jerseys aside from this season now, from what they're doing. I think in the past, it's been like you either buy the third jersey now or you miss out on it and they don't order. But, it is the first time that I think a jersey of ours gets sold out so quick, right? Due to like how successful it was and how valuable it was, being that we beat LA Galaxy with it. And I still got to say, no matter what happens this month, and even if we don't see any more victories with it, it's still a really valuable jersey to get your hands on, because we beat LA Galaxy at LA Galaxy with that jersey. And so I'm just saying it's got history behind it as much as the Old Glory Red from 2014 has as well, right? So
yeah, let's face it. The City of Trees kit has broken the third kit curse that we've had for so long with the 5-year anniversary kit, the city kit, the Quail kit. I mean, with this City of Trees kit, that has completely put the third kit curse to bed. Finally, we needed it.
We sure needed
definitely it is.
Especially after the Quail kit, which was. It sucked. It sucked a lot that, being that was a kit that was directly from something that came about from the fans, right? The Quail, right, started out as a joke in the fan base, right? And being that they were converting that into its own jersey was really great. It just meant that, the team was listening to the fans and what they were saying and going on with it. But yeah, it's good that we got a good historic third kit finally now, and that they're doing that. I want to give one final shout out here too, and you guys heard it on the podcast as well. Just big shout out to Ryan Strange, who joined us as a special guest co-host in our last pod, because he is sponsoring our brand new website, which I'll be announcing at our next podcast recording. So huge shout out to him and his business at Meeks RV. So if you guys are looking for an RV, check them out. meeksrv.com is the website. So check them out. Maybe visit their location, browse their inventory on the internet, meeksrv.com again. Check them out there. And just again, huge shout out to Ryan for Ryan and Meeks RV here for sponsoring our brand new website, which it's going to have a lot of amazing things. I'm just saying, there's going to be a lot of new things that we're going to be introducing on the podcast show that are available on this website. So be on the lookout. It's going to be really great. And we couldn't have gotten it without Ryan and Meeks RV sponsoring the website. So huge shout out to them.
That is big news. I mean, that is awesome. I mean, and I did listen to last week's episode. Ryan did an amazing job. I mean, I actually listened to all 8+ minutes of the bloopers from this past episode. I think that's a record now, because usually our bloopers are maybe 3-4 minutes. I mean, y'all just had it all on for 8 minutes. So, and Ryan was definitely giving some good insights. So it was awesome to see that he was able to come in on such very short notice. Given how ill I was, but big go-outs of gratitude to Ryan and Meeks RV. I mean, maybe we might see a podcast road trip. Who knows?
All right, yeah, we might do a road trip out to Arizona on an RV. That'd be really cool.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. Sharon says, Ryan was great. Yes, thanks for the sponsorship. Yeah. Yeah, we truly appreciate that because the website has been a project that I've been trying to publish for a while now. But I wanted it to be actually paid for and not using the free site because they did offer a free option. And, I wanted it to be actually a paid one, and not only their basic plan, but to get the best plan available because these guys are great. They're called PodPage, and you can make some really amazing websites that are geared towards podcasts specifically. So it was a no-brainer. I had to go through them, but their cost was a little bit more than going through other just general web posters. And so, we're really glad he helped us out with this. Yeah, Sharon's right. He absolutely owned the newbie bloopers.
Yeah, Ryan's bloopers is amazing. I'm totally dying laugh out loud moments in my head. Thank you so much. It gives me happy thoughts.
Yeah, it definitely made the bus ride home from work yesterday all the more enjoyable, I gotta say.
And then that's another reason why I decided, a while back, I can't even remember when it was that we started at the bloopers plus extra content at the end of every episode. But, I want to get everyone a good laughter, and if making a fool out of ourselves makes someone else laugh, like I always say, I'm good with that, right? If we get someone to laugh on a not so good day, hey, I'll keep making a fool out of myself any day if it brings someone else laughter. So great stuff there. So again, we'll be sharing the website shortly. It's gonna be really great, and it's gonna be a work in progress. Probably still gonna add more things, but I'm just trying to make sure that all the little extra features are looked at, and I can actually roll it out with some of those features already in place. But I'm just gonna say it's gonna make all the listeners actually feel more a part of the actual show of the podcast, and even on the live shows as well, because there's some features there that allow listeners to be a part of the show without actually being with us when we're recording. So I'm really excited and looking forward to that. So awesome. Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to our town hall tonight. And as always, for your support, whether it's watching the show live or after we're done recording this live, or listening to our podcast episodes, engaging with our social media content, all that is really awesome. We also have a Facebook group, by the way, if anyone doesn't know about it. I know we don't always promote it as much as we used to at the beginning, but it's called Sacramento Soccer Fans, and you could check it out. Send us a request to join. You just have to fill out a little quick, short questionnaire there, just like 3 questions, and we'll review your request and approve you there. I know we're getting close to 500 members on there, so help us reach that amazing milestone on that group, and network with other people in the soccer community around Sacramento and find out what's going on. Cool. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. If you're going to the game tomorrow, I can't say I'll see you there, but Sharon and William will see you there at the game tomorrow. But I will be, and Jared and Sharon will be at the game against Birmingham on the 16th. So have a great night, everyone. And as always, go Republic. Let's go. Bye.
Yep. Go Republic indeed. Have a great night, folks.
Go Republic. Have a great night.
See ya.